Hi, my name is Sreeja Mohandas, and I've come here to speak about my book, Under the Tamarind Tree, my first novel, genre being fiction. But before I go further into details about my book, let me say a little about myself, a few lines about myself. I'm an English language trainer as well as a soft skill trainer. I'm into social counseling as well, and I've also done my stint in media. I worked for All India Radio, still do in fact, and also for Doordarshan. To come back to the topic of my book and my writing, yes, before that, a little about my family. I live in Bangalore with my husband and my two daughters, and yes, they've all been staunch supporters in whatever I've done, so I've always found it easy to give vent to my creativity because I've had a very supportive family. So that's about my family. Coming back to the book and why I wrote it. Writing has always been my passion. In fact, I have written articles and short stories in newspapers and magazines before, but this is my first attempt at a novel. So as I said, at the cost of repeating myself, my passion in writing was finally given complete flow in this particular novel, and I have used a lot of stories that I have heard from people and especially my mother, but I'll go into details a little later when I'm speaking about my book. So as of now, my book, Under the Tamarind Tree, is what has brought me here today on this platform. The current COVID situation is something that we never dreamt of. We never thought that this would actually, a situation like this would ever happen in our lives, where all of us are locked up at home, and even if we move out, it's with masks. It's a totally different scene, isn't it? We never thought about this. But I think what I really would like to talk about this current situation is that the wonderful way in which all of us have adapted to it. True, there's stress, a lot of stress going around, and people are finding it hard to cope with these this different kind of lifestyle that they are being forced to follow now. But at the same time, our resilience, especially Indians I should say, our resilience is so high, and we've coped so well with the situation that now, even with the fear of the second wave of pandemic happening has already begun, we're really not perturbed about it because we feel we'll get through it just like we did with the first one. And I suppose that's the way we need to get on with life. Be careful, be cautious, but at the same time, move on with life, because we can't really hold ourselves up, but we can be careful. Okay. My opinion on the changing trends in the current literary world, I would say there are a lot of opportunities today than we had before. In fact, budding writers would find it a lot easier to get their works published because we do have online publishing available. Then we do have self-publishing houses. You have so many of them where you can get to publish your works, which is a very good thing, because earlier a lot went through certain publishing houses, and many writers never really got the chance to bring their works out, or even if they did, it was after a lot of effort. So that way I would say that today opportunities are really good. And then of course, with the social networking sites open, people can freely advertise what they want to advertise about their books, about their works, and reach so many people in the process. So things are definitely easy, and it's a very good, I would say it's a good place to be in as far as writers are concerned, which is why we do find a lot of budding writers, a lot of people attempting to write with more confidence than they did before. My literary journey, well, that's an interesting question, because it has been a very, very enriching journey, and I should say very stressful at times, because I've had these moments when I feel there are no ideas at all. It's like my head has emptied itself, and it can be extremely stressful. But then when you do get them, when these ideas do come to you, it's like a dam suddenly broke, and these ideas are kind of flowing through. It's a mad rush through your mind, and you feel you don't have enough time to pen down these thoughts. It's like literally capturing them and putting them down on paper. So I should say that my literary journey has been very, it's a learning experience. I've had a lot of inputs from people, great minds who have helped me, inspired me, and I think I don't want to say anything more about it. Let me stop with that. It has been a fascinating experience. Now to start talking about my book, Under the Tamarind Tree. As I mentioned earlier, my first novel, genre being fiction. This one was inspired from, I should say, a lot of stories that I've heard from my mom. God rest her soul, she's no longer with me. But a lot of her stories, I based my book on a lot of the stories that she gave me, along with my own vivid imagination. I have plenty of that, which I think I should say is a blessing. And so that's what I put in my book, everything together with a lot of different elements to add interest, descriptions, and I brought out this book, Under the Tamarind Tree. I am getting very good reviews about it, so it's very nice to know that people appreciate the story that you have written, and this is a story that is so much a part of me, and that is something I discovered as an author, that when you put down a story, whether it's in the form of a short story or a novel, it's like leaving a little bit of yourself out there for everybody to read. So that's as far as my novel goes. Future projects, yes, I'm working on a second book of mine. I've started. This is a thriller, and I do hope everyone enjoys this one as well, as much as they have enjoyed my first book and are still in the process of reading, a lot of them. I'm also working on my short stories. In fact, I'm compiling my short stories and I plan to bring that out as well. And apart from this, some of the poems that I've written are going to be published as well. So these are the future projects that I have in mind. I would say they are ongoing projects, and I do hope to write a lot more later on. But as I said, creativity is something that keeps coming in, spurts, and so I just hope the present spurt of creativity stays on. My book, Under the Tamarind Tree, I would like all of you to read it. It's available on Amazon and Flipkart, and do give me your reviews once you read them. Read this book of mine and tell me whether you like it or what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I'd love to have your opinion, your reviews. And I would also like to thank NE8x for giving me this platform, this space to speak to all of you, as well as nominate my book.